I mean, you got to realize that most of the big brands, when you see them around, that is a brand awareness campaign. When they talk about that, they want you to recognize the color. They want you to recognize the font, the logo, the shape, or whatever it is. I mean, remember the Pepsi and Coke wars. It was all about branding, right? It was, it was just, that's all it was. And one of the greatest marketing moves ever was the Pepsi challenge or whatever it is. Take the Pepsi challenge. They didn't even care if which one you picked. People were talking about both brands the whole time.
Yeah, exactly. But the Pepsi challenge worked. And I read something about it that they said in a single taste test, maybe they tried this beforehand. For some reason, people tended to pick Pepsi over Coke. But if you drank an entire can, they tended to pick Coke over Pepsi. And I read that after, and I'm like, oh, that's really interesting. I have no idea where I read it, and I don't know if it's totally true. But it's interesting that they exploited this little, I don't know, opportunity where people, I think it tasted sweeter, and so in a single quick test, they would tend to pick Pepsi. Bizarre.
But then too sweet at the end of the can.
Too sweet at the end of the can. Yeah.
That's kind of how I feel now, right? Because I've always drank Coke because of it was too sweet. Pepsi was too sweet, but I can see how on a taste test it could be preferred. But you know, again, like you said, let's set those aside and talk about dry run. Let's talk about even cash flow Mike.
Yeah.
To me, I think there's two main components you got to start with, and we can kind of debate these, but to me, there's two main components that you have to start with if you want to create brand awareness. And the two components are really components of what I call, but it's called value proposition. What is your value proposition? But to have a value proposition, you got to answer two questions. What is the promise you deliver to the customer? Right? What do you do? And the second one is, why should I buy it from you? So what do you do and why get it from you? So that becomes the basis of everything I do as a marketing message is, hey, I do this and get it from me because I've done blah, blah, blah. I found, for instance, I do cash flow coaching, consulting, and training for small businesses, accountants, and bookkeepers. And you should get it from me because I found $150 million in hidden cash in the last, X number of years. Those two things, quick, simple, and people get it. That's what you're looking for. And I think that's the formula is what do you do and why get it from you? What are your thoughts?